Namaskar. Welcome to this webinar. Today, I will be talking about meditation and anxiety. This is quite a, let's say, actual subject, which is very important in today's world. So I wanted to give a yogic perspective about this problem. So in the ever-evolving world of human progression, we can notice a distinct shift. Humans are becoming more mentally oriented and progressively less physically oriented. So we are becoming more mental, less physical. And with this advancement, it paints a new landscape of our health, of the future, and how we are going to take care of ourselves. So this change will impact our mental states, and that will impact our physical health. Today, it is easy for us to accept that we have a physical ailment or physical disease, and then we look for a doctor, hospital, or whatever we feel comfortable to take care of our physical problem. But it doesn't happen in the same way with mental illness. There is some struggle to recognize that we have a mental illness or that we are suffering from some mental disease. We may even refuse or deny that we have it. And that's a situation that has become common today. And because mental illness is increasing as we become more mental, then it becomes a more diffused problem or a more spread out problem where more people suffering from mental illness and not taking care of it and letting the illness grow. What is a physical illness? Our body has different systems. Some system is not working well. Maybe it's an organ like the heart or the lungs, or maybe some other system of the body is not functioning well. Our science is quite developed. We have been able to study the physical body in depth. There are so many specialists on just small different parts of the body. So we have become very proficient in taking care of these various parts of our body. And maybe not taking care, but at least we understand that something is happening wrong there, and we try to cure that. Now, what is the next frontier? The next frontier is to understand the various parts of the mind. We know we have a brain. Brain is physical. Brain can also have different diseases, but that is the hardware, the part that we can see. What about the mind, the part we cannot see? The thoughts, where are these thoughts coming from? What is generating these thoughts? And as I mentioned, we are now more mental. So the thoughts have a great influence, what we think, what we allow to happen in our mind. And why certain thoughts come, why certain feelings come, why certain emotions come, why it comes more in one person, less in another person. We say, oh, no, because we are all different. Of course, we are all different. Physically, we are different. Mentally, we are different. We can look at the body and see the different parts of it, but we cannot use our instruments to see the different parts of the mind, because the mind is very subtle. The body is more dense, more crude, physical. Mind, subtle. So we now have to go to that next step to understand the mind. How is it made? How it works? Why all these emotions? Why all these thoughts? So we have to go to that frontier now. Here enters the wisdom of the yogis. You know, yogis or yoga is not something new, thousands of years old, maybe 7,000 or maybe more. It's a very ancient practice, and we may not call it scientific in the sense that our scientific instruments cannot perceive the depth of yoga, but it's scientific in the sense of that you experience it as you practice, and that makes it real. So this millennia-old introspective practice, for example, meditation. People have been practicing meditation for millennia. So yoga has a deep understanding of the body. Even in Western society, when we talk about yoga, you can immediately think of a physical thing, physical exercise. So yoga understands the body very well, but it also understands the mind very well. So, and the connection between the two, how a physical movement can create an effect in the mind. So how one yoga exercise being done in a certain way can have an effect in the mind, and how concentrating the mind in a certain way can have an effect in the body. So this is part of the yogic science, the yogic practice. Now our theme of today, anxiety. Many people are suffering from anxiety, but everyone has anxiety. Some have more, some have less, and in some it becomes a disease when it goes out of control. But everyone has. Even the least anxious person has a little bit anxiety. It comes up sometimes. That's part of the human being, is the part of our structure, that we all have anxiety. But it's the same way, like we all have the heart, and the heart is beating. But in some, maybe the heart went out of control, is beating too fast, or maybe beating too slow, or maybe not beating strong enough. The same with anxiety. We all have anxiety, it's there, but in some of us, it may be too much. In some of us, it may be too little, but it's there. It's always there. So there are these extreme ends. We have occasional anxiety depending on the situation, and then it passes, we are back normal, and then another situation happens, it comes back, then it goes. But there are people who it is there all the time, and when the situations come, it goes even more. It's overboard. Now, there we can say that it's a mental health issue. The person is having anxiety as a mental health issue. Now, how to treat it? We may think that it's some chemical thing, so then we give certain drugs, and that alters the chemistry in the body, and then we have less anxiety. But you know, where is that chemistry produced? It's produced by the body itself. It's okay that taking a medicine might help in certain situations, but it is not attacking the root of the problem. If we want to cure, we have to go to the root. It's like, for example, my anxiety is out of control. I take some drug, makes me a little bit numb, so I control it. But usually these drugs have side effects. So you take the drug for a certain thing, and it will give a certain side effect and another side effect, and then you have to take another drug to control that side effect. It is not a very pure cure. It doesn't restore your body to a balanced state. Yoga teaches us how to restore the body to a balanced state through different techniques. As I mentioned, we all have it. We have it, it's a mental thing. So we call it a propensity of the mind. And it's in everyone. So it's like a common thing in every human being. The mind has this propensity, this tendency to get anxiety. And if we will look at our human body, let's say we scan the body and we think, in which part of my body anxiety is more related with? And I would say the chest, the mid of this chest area. Okay, so anxiety is very much related to here. When I'm anxious, I feel a little bit like that and some discomfort. So in yoga, we have a system called chakras. And what is a chakra? A chakra is a mental thing. So let's say if you open the body, you don't see the chakra. It's subtle. It's a mental location. Now, it does have some correspondence in the body. So chakras, mental, correspond to glands, physical, endocrine glands. So now let's say that the endocrine glands produce certain hormones. That hormones affect the body and affect the mind also, can change your mood according to the hormones that are being produced by a gland. So in this case, the chakra is in the part of the chest. The gland is also located in this area. And this is the thymus gland. It produces various hormones. So some of these hormones will increase anxiety and or decrease anxiety. So it depends on that. And this is also a yogic chakra here. And we say that the different chakras, which are like, I said it's a mental thing, so let's say it's a mental substation. We tend to think that our mind is here in the head. So our mind is here, but not really always there. Let's say that here is like the central government, and then it controls the whole country. So like in our case, controls the whole human structure. But then there are state governments. So let's say those are the chakras. So there are 7 main chakras according to yoga. And one of these main chakras is on the chest. So here is like a mental substation. And let's say that this mental substation is the primary controller of anxiety. Of course, the big mind, central government, is the ultimate controller, but it's controlling it through the state government, which is the chakra at the chest. So now we see there is a physical part, a gland, endocrine gland. There is a mental, subtle part, the chakra. And the two working together can control this anxiety. So what is the yogic solution now? Okay, first, we have to know what the problem is. So in this case, we already presented the problem. There is this individual, a very anxious person, out of control. So first, we have to see that the person will accept our solution, yogic solution, how you can solve your anxiety. Then the formula, do meditation. Why meditation? It's a mental practice. Anxiety is a mental thing. So let's attack it where it is, mental. So the first point of attack, or the first method to cure, is the meditation. Now, there are different systems of meditation. We emphasize, or we promote, meditation with mantra. I'm not going to present now the meditation, but you can find in other webinars or other courses that we give how to meditate. So now the person will meditate, and meditation will bring the person to a deep state of the mind, deeper than the anxiety. Let's say the anxiety is on the surface. Imagine a lake. There is a lake on the surface, the water is very agitated. That's anxiety. So now, if we dive deeper, we will notice the water there is calmer. So in meditation, we go deeper. So now we are practicing, or we are putting our mind for some time in a calm state so that it can release this anxiety. All right, so that's one part. Number two, we said that it's very much related with the gland, thymus gland. The gland may be producing the hormone in excessive, and that is increasing our anxiety. So what to do? Through yoga exercises, some exercises you are stretching this part, some exercises you are compressing it. That is creating a flow of lymph, a flow of blood in that area, is working on making that area more, let's say, emotion. Imagine a stream. There is a stream. If the water is flowing very well, that stream can keep itself clean. If the water gets stagnant, it will become smelly and not clean. The same way, through these yoga exercises, we are making everything flow in our body. And the flow of lymph is very important. And lymph does not have a heart pumping it. The blood, the heart pumps, but the lymph doesn't. And that's why through these exercises, we make lymph flow. The flow of lymph is making our glands more healthy, because lymph feeds the glands. It gives vitality to the glands. So now we are working with these yoga exercises. And there are particular exercises that are better for one part of the body or another part of the body. So for that, you can consult an instructor who will tell you these are the best exercise for you. Then, food, dietary recommendations. No, food is very important. We know that if I have a problem, I can take a medicine, and the medicine will, let's say I take a pill, the pill will absorb my digestive system, then it goes into my body, and it will improve that problem that I'm having, okay? Now think about food. Food we are eating all the time, and it's all the time going into our system, and all the time giving nutrients and the substances and chemical compounds to all our body. So if we have the right food, it will be much better than that concentrated chemical that we are getting on a pill. We are getting on a food that is much easier to absorb. And we have to think about the effect of the food on the mind, not only on the body. There are certain kinds of food affect the mind in a certain way or in another way. So if we have the right diet, we may not need any extra pills because we are getting everything from the food we are eating. And we'll not have the side effects because we are not getting that concentration, so strong concentration of a certain substance. Now, there are other yogic techniques that we can practice. Simple things, let's say, for example, we have one technique with water. Sometimes we are anxious, and that increases our, like say, metabolism and the whole function of our body. We get heated up. Cooling down the body will help a lot. So like, how can you do that? Just with water. So what part, you can take a shower if you have it available, if that's possible for you. You're at home, maybe you are feeling terrible, super anxious. Maybe you take a shower, nice, relax, you come out new. If you cannot do that, maybe you are at work, no shower, no time, you can do a half bath or half shower, let's say, which is just to cool down with water your motor organs. It means the arms and hands, the legs and feet, and your sensory organs, eyes, ears, also your mouth, and you can refresh, like throw water in the eyes, put a little bit water in the ears, maybe some water in the genital area, and in that way you refresh the parts of the body that get more heated up, and that cools down the whole body. So that's just an example that there are simple techniques of yoga that can be used to overcome anxiety by using this approach on the body and on the mind simultaneously. And other methods, just by observing your thoughts, not letting your mind go into the thoughts that bring anxiety, diverting the mind to another direction. That's also a mental system. There are mental systems for that. So what's our offering? We offer weekend seminars at our locations where you can come and learn how to implement these yogic systems. Let's say one weekend you learn it, but then you go home and you can continue applying in your day-to-day life. If you cannot come to any of our locations, there is nothing nearby, you can take our online planetary leadership training. We have a course. It's called 99 Days to Transform Your World. And what is leadership here? Leadership is we have to learn how to lead ourselves first, how to control and lead our mind, how to lead our body, how to not let our body and mind go through anxiety, lead it in a different direction. That's the first step of a planetary leader. Then comes the part of, okay, now you are a better person. You are not suffering from all these things. Your mind is clear. You can do something great for the planet. That's the planetary leadership training. So our conclusion for today, this promise that you can understand and you can control anxiety through ancient wisdom, but modern practices. I mean, practices of yoga designed for people today. Because today we don't have much time. We cannot go to a cave and meditate there. We have our responsibilities. We are working in the world. So a modern system of yoga applied to the way we live on this planet, which can benefit everybody, and consequently, it can benefit the planet a lot. Because most of the problems we are facing today are created by the mind of the people, some diseases in those minds. And imagine a leader having a certain disease in the mind can lead us to disaster. And that's what's happening today. And that's what I wanted to present to you today. And thank you very much for taking the time to attend this webinar. The recording will be available. Namaskar and all the best.